everyone, this is P4L. In today's P4L review, we'll be taking an early look at KFC's Ditka, their version of an MP Blitzwing, obviously. This is a pre-production sample, the same one that Toy Dojo had a couple weeks ago and did a comparison review on. So it's going to be the same model, same kind of issues with the tolerances and, you know, some of the colors being kind of weird and all. But that's just a quick disclaimer. I'm sure this guy's going to be much better once he actually gets fully released later this year. So really quickly, let's go ahead and do a quick 360. And like I said, he is a little loose right now, especially in the lower body because this is an early sample. Overall, in robot mode, it's very clean. A lot of this is kind of backpacked, is kind of tightened up or hidden. A lot of people keep saying that he seems to have thinner legs, and I think the thighs, yeah, maybe a little bit, but I think it's just kind of the perception of a lot of mass up at the top and not a lot of mass down at the bottom. He does have these kind of wingy things that Blitzwing usually has. You can kind of have them folded up if you'd like, if you want something a little bit cleaner looking. These are a little bit loose on the pin joint. But again, this is an early sample, and it's been handled quite a bit, so that's probably why it's a little bit looser than you might expect from a retail release. He does come with a bunch of accessories, like this sword. The sword takes two 377 batteries, and I forget what the equivalent of that is, but it does shoot out a red flame or LED light. Really quickly, one thing that you will notice, probably hard to notice underneath these bright lights, but you can actually see it through the purple plastic, which is kind of an indicator that this is a little bit thinner plastic than you might like, or at least not as dense. The light does kind of extend down here, but it's mostly focused here. But again, two 377 batteries, and just unscrew these 5 screws and just place them in, and you'll have no issue with that. Overall, the molding on this is really nice. The translucent purple is good, but the LED isn't dispersed as well as I might have liked. In addition to that, whoa, quick hands. He also has this small gun, or rifle as it were, and it has a weird transformation like property here. I'm gonna just put this and lean him on the back just because otherwise he's gonna topple over. But this can transform, but I don't know why. It can kind of tuck in like this, and I don't know what this is for. Maybe it's for storage, or maybe like as a club weapon. Not really sure. It does have 2 tabs here, just like the sword, so he can grab onto it very securely in the hands. We'll just move these off to the side for now. He also comes with or at least this one only comes with 1. I'm not sure if he's going to come with 2 later or not, but it's another kind of missile. And it is spring-loaded. You press this little tab here, and it fires out really well, really hard, really strong spring. And it has a, a peg here that can work in a couple different areas under the wing and in the side of Blitzwing. And I don't know why it's not going anymore. Oh, I must have broken something. Oh, no, there we go. But yeah, you can store it like here in this weird creviced out area, but the tolerances must not be right. This must be where it goes, but it's not actually working right now. In addition to that, he does come with a few other things. He comes with this sprue of different types of weaponry. I'm not even gonna bother with this, honestly, just because I don't want to deal with it, but there are a bunch of missiles and rockets and everything like that, and another smaller sprue of these things, which are actually like stands for some of these missiles. These missiles will like plug in here, and so you can use it as a display piece. Kind of a weird inclusion. I don't really find it particularly necessary, but okay. The paint on these is not that great though, but again, it's a pre-production sample, so that's probably why. The last accessory that I almost forgot to mention, or actually did forget to mention, is that he comes with a little football, you know, kind of honoring his namesake, and a throwback to the episode where he's kind of feature pretty heavily, where they play football in a stadium and they do battle, and I think he actually shoots he shoots a football out of his barrel, I think. It was a very random episode where, you know, the Autobots are trying to understand Earthling culture and stuff like that. But in any case, that is another cool feature, which, you know, probably is where his name comes from. Lastly, talking about diecast, he does have quite a bit of diecast. This is all diecast. You can kind of hear it here. His heel, his toe, some of the, I think the inner workings of this might also be, maybe not. Let's see, where else does he have diecast? I think his chest, maybe? No. Some other parts of him definitely are diecast. I just can't remember which parts. Maybe, but he is quite hefty for being such a big figure. Oh, his knees. That's the other part that's diecast. His knees are really heavy. But yeah, if you're worrying about this guy being too light, don't. He's definitely a pretty hefty figure, especially at this size. He does come with an alternate face. This is kind of like the monocle-eyed theme from Animated. And I'll show you how to attach and detach it in a little bit. It's very easy, just has kind of these friction pegs on the side here. Actually, let's just go ahead and do that now after we look at his original face. So his original face is really nice, chromed out visor there. Nice face sculpt. He is a little lippy, but not too bad. He can rotate his head, but because of these pieces here, it kind of gets in the way. But you can kind of probably reposition it and push it down to fit your needs. Up on the swivel, a little bit down, a little bit left and right. No ball joint. But yeah, if you want to get this off, you just pull it off here. And then just basically push it back on here. It's going to be a little hard for me to probably do on camera. Come on. There we go. And so that's how it works. He has a little goatee as well. Alright. As far as other articulation, he does have shoulder articulation at this little thingy here. These kind of weird shoulder holders that he's always had. His arms can kind of go like this. They could actually rotate up more if you didn't have these in the way. Goes out about this far. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbows that break up the look here. And just be careful when you're dealing with the elbows. Articulate the lower one before you articulate the upper one. Otherwise you might get some interference. His wrists are on a very tight swivel here right now, and then he has the typical KFC hands with a ball joint at the base, a couple joints at the thumb, and then ball joints at the base of all four fingers, as well as 2 more points of articulation in each individual finger. Alright, so some people don't like these KFC hands. I actually prefer them in the sense that they give you more posability. But if you don't like them, if you've never liked them, you're not going to like them here. His waist does have a bit of a ratcheted swivel. Not a whole lot because it gets some interference in the backpack, but it's not terrible. His hip skirts do flip up. He doesn't get a whole lot of forward. He gets like 2 ratchet clicks forward, which is not even like 45 degrees, which is a little sad. You can get maybe, no, you can't even get 1 more ratchet if you go out on the twist. He does have about 90 degrees here. Thigh swivel, nice hidden thigh swivel, which I like. Double jointed knees, both ratcheted, so you can get pretty far in. The upper one does break up the look a bit though, so you may want to utilize the lower one more. We talked about these. The feet are on a swivel back here or hinge back here, so you can go down like this. But then you also have individual heel and toe like this. And then ratcheted ankle tilt. Is it ankle tilt or? Yeah, so he has toe and heel articulation there. And they can work separately. Like that. The heel is on like a friction, and the toe is on a ratchet. Alright, I think that's it for articulation unless I missed something. Oh, the cannon can go up and down to your liking. And one thing I wanted to point out, most of the reviews that I've seen, I think all of the reviews I've seen, didn't have the shoulder pieces here, his, trapezius muscles, transformed correctly. Most of them had him up like this. That's not correct. These are supposed to be tucked down. They unpeg and tuck down. It's a little hard to do right now because I can't see anything. But believe me, that's how it's supposed to work. So we'll just leave that up because I can't deal with it right now. But that's one thing. The other thing is I think Toy Dojo, when they did it, they forgot to actually swing this piece in. So this made it, they reviewed it like this. This actually has a double hinge, a set of double hinges that come in and even slightly peg up here on the behind the tread to hold them in place, and that gives it a little bit more of a sleeker look. Really quickly, let's do some size comparisons just because we're in robot mode already. And he stands basically head to head with MP10. So a bit of a bigger figure. Alright, let's see what I can do here now. So I usually do transformation both ways, but because I don't have instructions on this, and so I don't know if I'm doing it right, and because it's a pre-production sample, I'm not going to bother going both ways. If I end up getting this one, I'll do a review on the official version, and I'll show both ways. But for now, you'll get the gist of it from just going one way. So, the first thing we'll do, I like to deal with the lower legs first. Just go ahead and fold up the feet like this. We're going to go to jet mode. I think this is the way, yeah, this is the way we're going to want it for jet mode. Just fold it up like that. Come on. Why is this closing? Come on. There we go. Then we're going to go ahead and collapse the legs, and these are a little tight, and I found them a little frustrating. I hate leg collapsing mechanisms, especially ones that don't have a button or some sort. They tend not to work really well, and as a pre-production sample, this one has probably even more problems than it will at the final version. So there you go. Tab both legs together. And for plane mode, which way are we going to do? Oh, actually for jet mode, we're going to flip these like this. I think. Hopefully this is right. Oh, this part fell off. Son of a gun. So this just slots in back up here. Alright. So once we have that done, we're going to go deal with the hands. The hands you're going to just want to curl up like this. Get the thumb down to the side. You're going to open up the bottom here. And you're going to rotate the fist 180 degrees so it's upside down. And then flip that in. Close that up. Get the arm rotated like this. 90 degrees inward. Same thing on the other side. Flip this open. Flip this around. Make sure these are all curled up and down and in. Rotate this down and get them kind of at attention. Alright, next up is the biggest part of the transformation. You're going to go ahead and pull out on the shoulders. Shoulders are connected on this square peg right there. And when you come down like this, you want to flip this out, flip this piece and this little fold away piece out like this. That's actually designed on only one side to make room for this piece, which I think was a last minute add-on, which is why they probably had to do this. It didn't originally have this in the first renders that we saw, and it's a kind of a weird solution to that because you need it to have enough room to sit on the backpack. Anyway, from here we're going to also use that double hinge that I showed you before to get the tread out like this. And that'll give you the room to bring the arm in like so. And there are a couple pegs there. Alright, so once you have all that done, you're going to flip this around and down. With these little wingy things, you're going to want to flip them out like this. And this is where it gets a little bit tricky. You need to maneuver this in to this slot here by sliding up on this joint. But at the same time you're trying to get that in, you need to actually get this fin piece around this backpack piece. Once you have all that done, you plug that in. Hopefully you're in a good position there. And this piece will peg in there. Alright, so that's one half done. Just kind of straighten this out. And this is supposed to sit like this and kind of, I guess, sort of peg on here with this half peg. But we'll deal with that in a little bit. So same thing on the other side as we said before. Unpeg this whole thing. Oh, this piece fell off again. I imagine actually this piece will probably be glued on the final version. There's no need for it to be loose. But here, using these double hinges that you can see better on this side, like that, that'll give you room. Oh, flip this open. That'll give you room to articulate this up. This arm is much tighter at the shoulder joint. Down, peg in, like so. Peg this flap in. Remember again to flip out this piece and this piece here. I'm hoping I'm on screen for most of this. And then slide up on this joint. Get this fin piece out and around. And again, you gotta work both the joint in while getting this piece. There you go. If you did all that correctly and tab both of these tabs together, you should have something like this. Oh, actually, we're not gonna, sorry about that. We gotta keep these open because we have to open this. And this is where the nose cone is in here. This is a little tricky. So the first thing we need to do is if this piece here isn't all the way back, it should all be all the way back and slid up in robot mode, but just in case it's not, go ahead and move that up. You can go ahead and peg these shoulder pieces in. So these were down like this. You're going to come up and peg these in like so. You're going to want to bring this piece down. It's on a sliding joint and out. And that's why you need to have this piece all the way back. It gives you just enough clearance to do that. And you can see the cockpit coming out here. This piece is going to fold down like this, and you'll see this peg that aligns with this here. And at this point, you're going to have to collapse this. On the sample, it's really tight. You can hear that loud click. Tab that in like this. The nose cone will split open. Well, I guess the fuselage will split open. Bring the nose cone out and around, like so. Tab the two halves together. The robot mode head will flip back like this. This will close up, and there's a small peg that goes into the section here. Don't press too hard, because if you press too hard, the cockpit opens. The cockpit does open, but it unpegs here, so it's not actually a really well designed portion. Now you can flip these down, and they kind of work. Not really. I'm hoping that these are a bit better designed in the final version. They do have a little tabbing system here as well. It just doesn't work all that well, or it's not as tight as it should be right now. coming to the bottom, the turret is on a sliding joint. Slide that all the way back, and you can see this. These are some of the exhausts. You can go ahead and flip this back like so, and open up the landing gear here. Collapse the barrel, flip this up, and there we have what's his name? Ditka in alt mode. From here, he doesn't really sit that well. A lot of people have been using this little flap here to kind of get it to stay. It sort of works. The wheels are okay. They're not great, but then if you use this flap here, you don't really make use of the wheel so much. You can remove this. This is something that Jack at Toy Dojo showed. Really deep in here, there's a purple button. And you just press on that with something hard. You don't have to press it that hard, and just pull up on the turret, and there you go. You do lose the landing gear, obviously, when you do that. But at least now it looks like a plane without all that kibble on the bottom. As I said before, this rocket looks like it's designed to go in here, or missile launcher, whatever you want to call it, but it's too loose at this point. But it is molded with a curvature that makes sense. But for now, you can plug it in here, or there's even another one all the way back there. I'm not sure if it actually fits there, because I think the treads get in the way. Maybe. I don't think so. Same thing with this. You can plug it in using these pegs on the wings. Transform it whichever way you want, with the barrel out or not. And we'll just go ahead and plug this one in over here. It does have some fins that articulate. These are a little loose. They keep, not loose, but not tolerance well, so they keep popping out a bit. Not bad. I can't figure out where the sword might go on this. I mean, there's some ports here, but it doesn't really make sense to have them there, but I guess it's an option. I don't know if that's the design it's supposed to have, but I guess you can plug it into this port here as well if you have the turret removed. But overall, the weapons don't really have a place in alt mode, or at least not this one. For comparisons, I don't have any of my Seekers transformed right now, so I apologize. Toy Dojo, I think, does do some comparisons with Seekers, but here he is with my favorite comparison figure, just because I have an extra one. There's this streak. He's about 2 streaks long. 1, 2, 3 streaks wide. He does have these thrusters. Again, that's why I flipped them around on the toes. It looks fairly clean once you take the turret off. You have little intake kind of things here. It would be nice if these plugged in a little bit more, but it's okay. Nice molded detail though, although it's a lot of purple. But getting back here with the treads and everything like that, that's kind of where it all breaks apart. The look. Alright. Transforming into tank is not all that hard. You do have to do a few things that kind of go back midway through the transformation. So let's go flip this up a bit. Get this out. So the first thing we'll do is actually deal with the chest. So kind of going backwards, you're going to lift this up. Just get this out of the way for now. Split apart the fuselage. Get this down, flipped in. Close that up. Unpeg it here. And again, if you have since you have access now, you can pull this all the way back. I'm going to flip this down like so, and then slide it up. This piece will go like this. Alright, so you want to have this slid as far as it can go because this peg will peg in there. You can collapse these at this point. There we go. And then the head will flip back like this. This will close up. You'll see the little peg that goes into that underside. Alright, let's see. Oh, I guess we should get this back on too. That'd be a good idea. Come on. Should just go right in. There we go. Since we're back here, we can just flip that flap down to cover up those thrusters. And from here, we gotta come to the underside. We gotta untab those shoulders again, those square pegs. Get this up ever so slightly. The reason why is actually because you need to get these flipped down and under and pushed in like that. Do you see that little notch here? Then you also need to flip this in like so. And you'll come back like this. Peg that back in down there. And you're going to untab this. Rock this up. And that will form half of the tank. Flip this down. Same thing on this side. We gotta kind of release all this action going on here at the shoulder. Get this flipped down like this. Make sure you can flip all this back down. And again, push this in so that it goes like this. Because you can mistransform it and have it like this or something like that, or sitting parallel. You don't want to do that. You want to have it sit as flat as possible. Okay, coming back down. Peg that in. Peg the two halves in like so. Come back to this side, unpeg this. Close this back up. This doesn't really peg into place anywhere. It looks like it might in these holes, but it actually doesn't fit. So just go ahead and rest that into place. And then extend the barrel. The barrel extends quite far. And with that, you have Ditka in tank mode. And I was actually planning on trying to get War Dog into tank mode. That's the only other tank I currently have. But yeah, you guys know that figure's kind of a pain to transform. I mean, it's not impossible, but I thought it was a little much for just a comparison's sake. Here he is with streak again. About 1.5 streaks long. And 2 streaks wide. But this mode probably is the better of the two alt modes. Nice molded detail, a lot of molded detail, grills. You got some paint, silver paint details here. This part is off-colored, but I imagine that's just because it's a sample. There's no reason why this should be black, so I'm sure that that's going to be changed. The treads look really nice. Nice molded detail, nice silvery paint, gray paint. All the, I don't even know what these are called. Hubcaps, I guess, are also painted. And they look really nice. They have little wheels here so you can actually scooch it around. They're a little tight on this sample, but not too terrible. He does have some secret not so secret compartments where you can lift that up. And where's that spike? You can kind of fit these guys in if you wanted, like so. As far as the weapons, I don't really see anywhere where they can plug in aside from here. And the only way it can plug in there is like weirdly on the side, like here. Transform this back. There's no real notch or anything to hold on to. So let me see if I can get this barrel out. Yeah, so as I was saying, the only place where this kind of fits is like here. How did I do it before? You can kind of plug it in here, which is just a weird setup for weapons. It's better off not going anywhere. I wish it pegged in somewhere on the front so you can make it use of a gun like that. I think that would have been cool. But as far as I can figure out, and again, no instructions, so I'm just going off what I kind of see here. It doesn't look like there's really any usage for any of these pieces. That said, it's cool that they do allow him to function as an actual tank. He does have a little bit of articulation on these side cannons here. He does articulate upwards like this, really tight, but can get quite a bit up, a little bit down. Can go around. You do see some of the butt and the legs once you go around this far. And it's kind of weird, the pivot point. It's really far forward. I don't know if that's accurate. I'm not a tank guy, so you let me know. But otherwise, that is his alt mode, I think. Fairly clean. You do see some of his chest. But otherwise, I think this is a really successful tank mode. But yeah, I think that's it for the review. Again, he does come with a lot of extra stuff. I'm guessing a lot of this will probably be used in the alt modes. That's probably what these are used for. Maybe, I didn't see any tabbing ones that might tab here, but maybe I missed it. But overall, very interesting. I think I do like it better than Gewalt, the DX9 Gewalt, for tank mode for sure. Jet mode, I'm not sure. This thing, unless you take this off, it definitely loses that battle. But robot mode, it's kind of a toss-up there. So I'm kind of leaning more towards him because I feel like Gewalt is a little too bulky. But if you want that style, then maybe Gewalt's better for you. Overall, transformation-wise, I think this guy is a little bit more successful in what he sacrifices or doesn't sacrifice, or as it were, to get into the different modes, even though some of the transformation parts are a little odd, like this weird necky thing, but it doesn't have any, like, you know, random head showing at the front or anything like that. So I think overall, transformation-wise, this guy does win. But yeah, this guy is up for pre-order. If you want to order him at Toy Dojo, there's a link in the description below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share, and subscribe. Otherwise, keep up to date with all my news and reviews at Facebook at P4L Reviews. Alright? Thanks a lot, everyone. Hope you have a good one.